So I hope you're having a great day, because I am. It's Christmas Day by the time I'm recording this. Well, I'm only going to record like the first couple of minutes just to get the video started, then I'm done. But anyway, Merry Christmas. This video will come out a couple days later, or a day later, but regardless, hope you're having a great Christmas. I hope you got what you wanted. But anyway, there are a certain group of people that would rather spend time out of their day being fanboys on the internet instead of spending time with their family, like I'm going to do later. And we're gonna make fun of them. And it's gonna be funny. Because it's really depressing that people would rather not talk to their family, celebrate Christmas or whatever they wish to celebrate on that day, whether or not it's important or not, blah blah blah, you get it. But they would rather waste away and talk about a console, or make fun of a console, instead of just doing what everyone else does on Christmas. Turns off their phone, turns off any technology, and enjoys the day with family. But before we get into the actual Christmas salt, there are a couple tweets that I want to take a look at beforehand, as I thought they were really cringe, and it was just a couple days before Christmas because of the Sony Kadokawa news that happened. And let's just say, the fanboy in question isn't really that smart. And it's really going to show. So let's get started. Our first tweet is from JDub. Elden Ring is now a Sony first-party studios game. Let the tears flow. Sony believes in exclusives. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but if you zoom in on that second screenshot, not the GIF, but the actual other thing, it will say, they own only 10% of Kadokawa. I don't know how that translates into them owning Kadokawa, and how that is now a first-party exclusive for Sony. I can see why a lot of people say no child left behind under your post, because honestly, I don't know the entire policy and what president it was that actually made that, but you know, I can understand the joke and why they say it, because it lets retards like you go on Twitter and say stupid shit. You're a 30-year-old man, roughly, I don't remember your age exactly, but you can't tell the difference between the largest shareholder and full ownership of a company. How can you be this brain dead? Like, I called you a mouth breather, and even people under that were saying that I'm somehow wrong, or partially incorrect for assuming that they don't actually own the company. Like, I can't tell if people are just retarded or just trying to get bait, because, I don't know, the post did quite well for my Twitter, or X, I don't really know what you want to call it, but I don't really care. And I don't get how people can sit there and say this shit like, oh, you're wrong, when they literally don't own them. They're just the largest shareholder, they're the largest voice, they still have to contend with other people on decisions that they want to make for the future of Kadokawa. Yes, Sony can try and ask for exclusivity, or timed exclusivity with games like Elden Ring and other things under Kadokawa's umbrella, but other people may not want that. They may own 10%, but who has the other 90%? A bunch of other people, and they may not agree with that. It's not an exclusive. It could be, but I don't think a lot of them would see a financial incentive of making that game exclusive. What made Elden Ring popular, and what made it successful, is that everyone had access to it day one. You exclude people for either limited time or don't release it on platforms, a lot of those people lose interest and realize maybe the game isn't worth my money. I've done that with a lot of games. There are so many pros and cons with doing it, that's kinda why Sony is going day and date with PC. They realize they can capitalize on the game launching and making money, instead of just releasing it later. That's why games like Helldivers was so successful, and was mainly carried by the PC community. But honestly, I believe it was the best outcome that they couldn't actually purchase this, as I don't want to see Elden Ring excluded from anyone or any of From Software's future games. They're really one of the only last good companies that we have out there in the gaming industry that isn't trying to sell you a political message, and is just trying to make a good game. So I would prefer them to just stay, well, they want to be independent, so preferably in a perfect world they would go independent, but maybe eventually, but as long as it stays in this way, they still have a good relationship with Sony, but also are allowed to do whatever they want with the games that they desire to make as much money as possible. I think that's what would be best for them. But it is pretty crazy that Sony wasn't able to completely acquire them, whether or not that was them not coming to an agreement, or because of multiple of their games flopping this year, and them making some pretty shitty business decisions with like Bungie, like really overpaying for them. But it is crazy that they lost a lot of money from a lot of these games, so maybe that could have had a pretty big factor that they didn't have enough money to throw around. But then again, they're a multi-billion-dollar company, so maybe they did have the money, they just wanted to come to a far more reasonable agreement. Anyway, with that spiel over, let's move on to the next tweet, which is from JDub, again. Which is a picture of him, and he just says, "Who did this?" And it's a picture of him with his profile picture saying, "We got Kadokawa, bitches," which, you don't, you have 10%. Sony's just the largest shareholder, that is it. They don't own them. Can you not figure this out? Are you special? Yes, he also made this tweet a day later. I should also mention that as, yeah, he doubled down. because for some reason that makes you look smart. I mean, then again, he's probably just doing it for views at that point and money, so I wouldn't blame him too much. But it's still funny to call him out nonetheless. Like, I really want to know what goes through their head to make these really stupid tweets. Like, I want you to think of it in this way, right? Like, you know your kids are going to see you say this shit and think you're completely fucking retarded. Like, do you not really think of, like, the future? Like, me personally, I don't want kids. You know, I don't really give a shit, and I never wanted children. Children piss me off. Kids piss me off. But in the case of just, like, looking at how people are gonna see this in the future, I'm like, oh, God, you are a fucking idiot. And you are the same guy that has used your kids in content before, or to flex that they have PlayStation stuff, which I think is genuinely cringe. But like, just imagine what they're gonna think of you. Like, bro, I'd be pretty depressed if I was your kid. I'd be pretty disappointed. Maybe even a little bit upset, maybe even a bit suicidal at that point. I think I'd just kill myself from embarrassment. Now it's finally time to move on to the fanboys. Well, there isn't many, because most of them actually stopped and turned off their phones and enjoyed their time with their family, but certain fanboys thought it would be really funny to go do it on Christmas. So let's go take a look. And the first one that we'll be taking a look is from JaybPC dude's looking spooky out here. And he posted this on December 25th, Christmas Day. It may not be Christmas over where he is, but in Australia it's Christmas Day, so it's still Christmas somewhere and he posted it on Christmas Day. Anyway, you get the point. And yes, I know, it's a very quick tweet to put together, very low effort, but the point still stands. This shouldn't be what you're doing on Christmas Day, it's fucking cringe. You just go spend time with your family. Why can't you just be like normal people and just do that normally? Like, it's that simple. Why waste your time doing this? You gain nothing from it. Yeah, unless you gain money from Twitter. I think you're verified. I honestly don't remember already. But in the case of everything else, it should not be your priority. You got one day out of the year where all the family's together and you can go talk, get hammered, do whatever you want. You get to open presents. You could be like Dreamcast guy and get a bag of meth for Christmas or something. That'd be cool. Like J-Dub, you have one day where all the family is together, and you could have made this post like a couple of days before and just turned off your phone for that duration and just enjoyed life for that time. You know, go outside, go for a walk in the bush, get lost in the bush and get into a fist fight with a grizzly bear or whatever. Preferably some kangaroos. They're more interesting because they like to drown you in water. Fun fact, did you know they actually sit in the middle of the water and pretend that they're drowning in some cases and will actually attempt to drown you once you get out there? Yeah, they're playing the most devious prank. Really funny animals. So anyway, let's move on to the final tweet of this video from that generic EricPro. I didn't know he added the pro into his name. But anyway, let's read his tweet. To the Sony stables, happy holidays, Merry Xmas, and whatever else you celebrate. Xbots, go fuck yourself. PC Master Race, go fuck yourself. Nintendrones, go fuck yourself. And for the love of God, leave the children alone. I'm missing some very important context about that Nintendrone one. I want to know now. I'm a bit curious, but regardless, I just want to say this. Why are you doing this on Christmas Day? You could have just said this a day before, and that would have been good enough, but you chose to do it on Christmas Day. Like, I genuinely want to know. Were you sitting at the table and just looking down at your phone like, I need to make this tweet silently in your head? Like, I think that shit's genuinely cringe that you were bothering to do that on Christmas Day. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm doing this on a Christmas day, but it's Christmas in America. The difference is I make money off of this, and I've already done everything for Christmas. I'm doing nothing today now, because it's the second day. At least in my case, it makes somewhat sense, but in yours, you don't really have much of an excuse. Like, I understand that most of these things are like 5-minute tweets, but that shouldn't be a priority for you. That shouldn't be something that you should be thinking about doing, or even bothering doing in the first place. You have one day of the year with family and people that you don't normally see, you get hammered, you have a good time, and then you go back living your life. It's that simple. This should not be something that you're doing on Christmas Day. It's cringe. So that's pretty much it for this video. I mean, that was it. There wasn't really that many tweets to cover, and I just really wanted to cover those J-Dub tweets, but I still need to offer you a video of some relevance, so there you go. Enjoy this. It was a quick, easy, simple video. I didn't really want to put too much effort into it because it's the end of the year. I want to enjoy the rest of the week heading into the new year. And hey, I just really want to say I appreciate all of you coming here over the year. This year's been pretty good for this channel. I went from like, 1K to 2.2K now? That's pretty good. I appreciate you all for watching these videos. I know they're complete ass and they're not really made to be, you know, incredible works of art. They're absolute mid-content, that's the point. I don't do YouTube as a job, I just do it as something that I occasionally enjoy doing. So I appreciate you all for being here. It really does mean a lot that people come over here just to hear my opinion, or hear me say shit whether or not they agree or disagree. It's cool nonetheless that you show up. But hey, that's pretty much it for this video, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your week. We're going into the new year, and that's pretty much when I'll see you next. You've only got me for another year anyway, before I head off into the military. But I need to go through the recruitment process, which I'll do that within a year's time, so you maybe have me for a year and 6 months. Roughly, that's at worst. So, I'll see you all in the new year. Don't get yourself killed, don't do anything silly. It's gonna be 2025 soon. Then we'll have Black Ops 2 become real life or whatever, you know. We all have pictured that would be what the future would look like. That's what I did as a kid. I thought that shit was cool as fuck. Technology isn't as cool as it is in that game. So I'll see you all in the next year. Enjoy the rest of your week. Have a good time and enjoy your day. Enjoy the rest of your Christmas since it's still Christmas when I upload this video. See you soon.